Awesome. Okay, thank you everybody so much for joining us. Today we have a special guest, Caroline Rideout with Blogmutt. I came across them because it's a service that I was looking to explore to add to my arsenal. And I'm going to share with you guys kind of like a hyper-focused version of blogging for realtors. So I'm going to show you how I got ahead and then give you some ideas. And then she's going to take it away with going into more detail. So one thing about blogging was when I first got my very first website, I was afraid because it was a templated based website that all these other real estate agents are going to have the same website with a different logo and a different photo, and that they are going to, my website's not going to get ahead. So what I found was by adding unique content to my website, I would go to my website. So say they give you a landing page, say they give you a contact page and a home page, change all of the content on every page. I took my website literally apart and rewrote every word that they put on there for me. And so I'm going to share with you a couple ideas. That process of doing all that writing, I found this really cool technique. I would go to my local website. So here I am at durhamregion.com, which is my local website. And what we would do is we would scroll down and look for content that we could twist and have a real estate conversation with. So for example, there's a Port Perry house tour marks a milestone. So they're talking about this charity event that's happening where you go and tour basically not really estates, but really, really cool architecture. You pay $25 and you look at all these, you get to get inside the homes of all these cool houses in the city, and all of the funds go towards the local charity. So that's a local share-worthy positive piece of article that we could leverage. So I would then write a blog, and my blog would look something like this. So I'm going to just read it to you. So this is a fake blog that I would have written. Did you hear about the Port Perry house tour charity? It sounds so cool. You pay $25 and get to tour around viewing stunning property in the area. You can get your tickets here, and then I link to their website. Bring a friend and get inspired by local architecture, the people that actually live in. As a real estate agent who gets to tour property every day, I can tell you it's always exciting to see how other people are living with decor, landscaping, storage ideas, and a million other neat ideas. If you are thinking of moving in the Durham region, we can actually put together a private tour just for you. We'll base it on your price range, the criteria such as style, area, and must-haves. As a buyer, you don't pay our fees. We also have a how much can I borrow program that helps you with the buying process, from securing financing, getting a mortgage rate lock, zero down options, and more. This tool is free to find out. Interested? Call or text me at 905-903-5442. So you can see how I took the one positive share-worthy content that our newspaper every two or 3 days they're printing a new issue. So every 2 or 3 days I would pay somebody to go through and circle all of the articles that they thought were real estate worthy that we could have a conversation about, and then I would twist it into my own version. So that's just one feedback. Like, I got to a point where I was paying a person to write the articles for me, and she would write 4 or 6 articles a week, and maybe only 1 or 2 of them were good. But I would take the 1 or 2 that were good, and then I would put my real estate spin on it. So she would write her version, and then I would clean it up, because nothing stops a real estate agent from creating content more than the blank screen. So this was my system for how I would continually, ongoing, create content. And I didn't even have to pay for the source of the ideas. The newspaper would just create that for me. So here's another article. Locally, a large tree limb falls on a Newcastle bungalow. So we would talk about how, oh my God, I can't believe this huge tree fell on a bungalow. And then we would talk about all the bungalows for sale in the Newcastle area. So we would totally twist it into real estate for sale about that type of property. Another example would be the Bowmanville Ace of Spades still on the run. So that's like a charity fundraising thing, and apparently it's taking off. So then we would talk about, well, hey, what would you buy if you were a millionaire? Well, take a look at these luxury homes for sale in the Bowmanville, Oshawa, Clarington region. So like we take the local share-worthy news that's already out there, and then we put a real estate spin onto it. Here's another example. Book boxes are spreading out all over the area. And in fact, I just saw somebody on social media posting about this, and they're not even in our area. And so here we could talk about how cool this is, that people, like, you take a book, you leave a book, it's totally free, it's community, it's positive. And here's a list of all our real estate books that you should read if you're thinking of buying or selling a home in Durham region. And then we would list off all the real estate related books. Like, it's so easy to keep creating ongoing content. There's even, let me move forward one, events. If you go to Google and type in the name of your city and add the word events. So for me, I typed in Oshawa events. And here it came up with a website that has a list of all of the upcoming events in our local area. And what's cool about it is that I can skip forward to future months. So I can skip forward a month and start planning out the content that we can do next month. Let me stop this video. So search the name of your city and then add the word events, and you've got a ton of free content that you could leverage. I wouldn't just copy and paste it onto your blog. What I would do is take the idea, talk about it, and then try and spin it into a real estate conversation. Now, I'm going to go through a number of links here that I'm going to share with you. One of them is this guy, Agent Fire. I know the owner. His name's Nelson. He's a really cool guy. He's young. He moved to Costa Rica. He's like living the life. And anyways, he put together this really good blog on 72 rock solid real estate blogging ideas. I'm going to list this out in the show notes, and I'm also going to email all of you guys these links that I'm talking about. But he wrote out local events in your area, community events, write about local businesses, housing trends. Like, he has 72 really good examples. So you could take this list and use that as a reason for creating content for social media. I mean, these are just bullet points to give you the spark of the idea. You would obviously have to dig a little deeper and do the work. But I mean, this gives you a fresh list of hot ideas that you could tackle. HubSpot's blog idea generator. So this one's really cool. So if I was a Miami real estate agent, I come here and type in Miami real estate. I'm going to say, give me blog ideas. And it just randomly generated 5 different titles that I could work with. The worst advice we've ever heard about Miami real estate. So when you hear that, can you think of really bad advice for people that are buying real estate in Miami? Probably. So start writing that out. Here's another one. Think you're cut out for doing Miami real estate. Take the quiz. Maybe that's a recruiting one that you could do. How to solve the biggest problems with Miami real estate. So you could talk about passive income maybe, or retirement, for example. Why you love Miami real estate. Why we love Miami real estate, and you should too. Well, you could talk about all the reasons of why you love real estate in your area. It's close proximity to such and such. The community has this. The architecture and layout of the land is this. The pricing is beneficial because. So you can talk about why you love it. And then 20 myths about Miami real estate. I can think of one that's probably too expensive. Well, maybe if you're a local real estate agent, you would know certain pockets in the area that are still safe, that are affordable. So that's a cool tool. It just randomly spit out 5 different ideas that I could run with. You can also analyze content by going to buzzsumo.com. So buzzsumo.com, it's a content analyzer. So when you come here, you can analyze content. So if I type in Vancouver real estate and hit search, or you type in the name of your city and add the word real estate, hit search, it's going to pull together the most share-worthy posts and articles in that. I don't know what the time frame is, if it's forever or just within recent months or whatever, but 28,000 people engaged with this one about gangs laundering money through Vancouver real estate. Well, maybe you could twist that. I would avoid that one, actually. I wouldn't want to get involved with talking about gangs. But moving on to more safe things. For low-income residents in Vancouver, a different kind of real estate crisis. Well, there you go. Here's one where you could talk about, like, if I click on that, that will take me to the article. It's through the Globe and Mail, which is a national newspaper. And I can take that and then use that and in my own way, spin my own solution to how I can find low-income people affordable housing through this program, a rent-to-own program that I know about. We know about this financing option. So then you could talk about that. So this is really cool. I mean, if you're going to create content, you might as well create content based on what people are already sharing and talking about. And this is just one way for you to find that out. Another link that I'm going to give you is Grammarly. I've talked about it before. It's a free tool. You add it to your web browser, specifically Google Chrome, and it works on all devices. And basically, not only does it spec, and there's a lot of different ways that you can make a mistake. And I'm not perfect. I still make a ton of mistakes, but Grammarly certainly helps out with that. Let me close a couple of these. Now, remember I said that I would outsource somebody to do the writing for me. There's 3 options. So Fiverr is kind of where I started, and I'm going to give you these links. Hold on a second. Okay, so I'm going to give you these links. There's like good, better, and best. Good is Fiverr, better is Upwork, and best is Blogmutt. Blogmutt is who I have on with me. So they have a really cool deal where people that use this specific link I'm going to give you, it gets you up to 33% off on your first article, up to $500, depending how big of an article or how many you're doing.
And I'll hop in there just quickly. It's on your first month of content. So it's actually more, you can purchase more than one article with that link. You could build out a full month if you wanted to post every week or twice a week. You get that discount on all of your content. So something to keep a note.
Perfect. Now, I'm actually going to make you a co-host. Cool. And then I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And then if you can share your screen and then share with us who you are and what you're all about. And while you're setting that up, I'll tell people, oh, let me stop sharing. Okay, so while she's about to share her screen, the reason why I reached out to them is because I wanted true writers. Like I used to just outsource on Fiverr. I remember I said I would get 6 articles a week and I would only be able to use like 1, maybe 2 of them. Well, with Blogmutt, it's like a way higher quality score. The level is there, the service is there. It's a really cool company. One of the ways I'm using them is for the videos that I make, I'm getting them my video and they're not transcribing it. They're basically writing a blog based on my video. And vice versa. I could take the blogs that they give me and then I could make a video out of it. So there's a ton of different ways that you could leverage them. And I'm excited for you to share with me how you can help real estate agents with their endeavor in blogging.
Absolutely. Thanks for the intro. Should I kick it off now?
Yeah.
Off. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Dan. So again, I'm Caroline. I'm here with Blogmutt, and I'm going to share some just insight that I have about blogging best practices for realtors. And I think that Dan did a great job of kind of going into the process of what it takes to get started in blogging. And I think he shared some really awesome resources. But to me, like one of the takeaways that I feel like from his presentation, there's a lot of information out there, but it can be really overwhelming to figure out, where do I get started? Where do I get ideas? And then once I have those ideas, how do I write about them? It's a lot of pieces to put together. And hopefully in my talk, I'll shed some light on some best practices and also open it up for some questions. So any of you feel free to chime in as I'm talking if you have any questions or need something clarified. I'm happy to make it pretty free-flowing.
Awesome. I'll even monitor if people want to just chat because there's a chat feature that they can ask questions. So all throughout this, go ahead and ask your questions and I'll interrupt as people do.
I'll do my best to answer them. Full disclosure, I'm not a real estate agent, although I do have many friends that work in realty. So you have a background in it. And this is me. So I'm the head of customer success at Blogmutt. That's my friend Flipper. He does not. We're based in Boulder. We're based in Boulder, Colorado. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring my dolphin friend with me here to Colorado, but he lives on in my heart. So,
yeah.
So what do I bring to the conversation? So I have almost 10 years of experience actually writing content for businesses, including many real estate clients. So while I'm currently the head of customer success at Blogmutt, so I help run the business operations side of things. In my past career, I've worked with dozens of clients, helping them boost their SEO and writing thousands of pieces for them. So I've worked with many realtors, home builders, renovators, sort of all across the home services and real estate market. So I have a lot of experience doing the actual writing component itself. And currently I work with our new and existing clients to help them set up their content strategies, succeed within our platform, and find the right writers to work with them. So that's where I'm coming from.
I like how you added this SEO part, because a lot of people write and they don't even think of the SEO of like adding the keywords. Like that sample blog that I wrote where I converted it into a real estate conversation. If you actually pause the screen and read it, you'll see like 3 or 4 of the main keywords that I was going for at the bottom in the article, but they're there and they're included. And it's not like spammy. It's there in a conversational way, but it's there intentionally.
Absolutely. And SEO it's something that's so complex. And, when I was starting out as a professional writer, I was at sort of the infancy of SEO itself. And it was a challenge to learn how to write sort of in that style and learn how to incorporate keywords. So it's not something that everyone can do. It's something that requires a lot of training and just understanding of this, this marketing, sort of system that's constantly changing and evolving and adapting. And one of the trickiest parts, well, there are a few things about SEO that are tricky, and I don't want to go on a tangent, but one is that, we don't necessarily know what Google is looking for when it's doing its searches. So we have an idea of what's going to get you better traction on SEO, but a lot of it is trial and error. So that's why SEO best practices are constantly evolving. We're trying to adapt the content that we're writing so that Google favors it, right? But they're very secretive about what their algorithm looks like. So a lot of it's just our best guess.
And you'll never really know what people are searching, because a lot of people will think like real estate house values, real estate homes for sale, that sort of thing. But we did one blog that was on wheelchair accessible homes, and it got us a lead within 24 hours. It was the first time I ever tracked a blog when we hit publish and we actually had a lead come through and tracked it. It was less than 24 hours. And it was a really small niche that we never would have thought of, but it was the newspaper that inspired us on like, oh, we should talk about this.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something, again, not to go off in too many directions, but as you're working on thinking of topics and especially keywords to use in your blogs, there's something that's called a difficulty score. So certain keywords like, housing trends in Nova Scotia, or sneakers. Like the word sneakers would be really hard to rank for, because if you think of all of the huge companies out there that are selling sneakers, like you're never going to compete with a Nike in terms of ranking for the word sneakers. But if you dig into some more niche topics, or you think of these longer keywords like red sneakers in Boulder, Colorado, I have a much higher likelihood of ranking for something like that, because it's very specific in the location, in the type of product or service. So it's all about tailoring it to your audience and also understanding, where you can actually rank and compete. So could do a whole separate webinar on that, but that's keep on mind. What's going on here? Cool. I'm sure many of you have blogs, have websites, but I just thought I'd start from the beginning. Why is it important to have a real estate blog? Well, I thought this was a pretty amazing statistic that according to the National Association of Realtors, 92% of buyers use the internet during their housing search. So that's a whopping 9 out of 10 people are searching online before they perhaps even contact you. And then in terms of marketing in general, according to Technorati, over 82% of influential marketers blog consistently. And 62% of clients that were surveyed said blogs were the social media form that they were most interested in learning about. So Real estate, it's a heavily searched industry, both offline and online. But in today's day and age, people are shopping for houses on the web, and you want to make sure that you're getting noticed. And one thing that Dan mentioned earlier, that idea of a templated website, maybe it's something that has been implemented through your real estate agency, or through the people that you're working for, and it can feel hard to stand out. But I think content is, and having a consistently updated blog is going to be one of the most powerful tools that you have to, find new people to work with, and also stand out once they do come to your site.
Once we did that change and it went live, it didn't take long, probably like 5 months or something like that. And we were getting consistently over 300 leads a month just from organic, non-paid blogging leads of real estate leads. So it would definitely paid to take the time to write all that content for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, just more background. In the next decade, myself included, 2.7 million millennials are going to be entering their 30s. So, there's going to be a huge increase in demand for housing. But, what can you as an individual agent do to reach more clients? How can you leverage your site and your industry knowledge and all these factors that you have going for you? How can you channel that into something that's going to be really powerful for you as a realtor? So with an active real estate blog, you can target new clients through SEO. And I think, to me, this is almost more important. You can educate, inform, and empower your readers, right? So if you're tackling subjects that are, hot topics in your local area, whether they're related to real estate or not, you can really position yourself as someone who's a thought leader in your local community, right? So when you position yourself as a trustworthy source of knowledge, you're going to help build those relationships that are so important when you're leading up to transactions. You're just going to have much more of a public and personable image out there. And you can also use your blog to highlight your successes as a realtor. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to also include blog content that's showcasing, maybe case studies of clients that have been really satisfied, whether you've helped them buy a house or sell a property, things that really tell the story of your journey in real estate and can help inspire those who are.
I like the case study. And what's cool is blogs have a forever shelf life, whereas real estate agents, they tend to just leverage the listing, which they should. However, that listing has a short shelf life because after it's sold, technically all that marketing material goes away with it, right? And so when you're doing blogs like this, like your experience through helping a client with this situation, I mean, that's brilliant. I like the idea of doing like more of a conversational of kind of like an ongoing documentary of your clients.
Totally. And I've seen it done, with text alone. So, writing up a case study or an article where you're interviewing past clients who you've worked with. But I think video is also important to drop into the conversation here as well. If you're able to get someone with you on camera talking about, how much you've helped them or just what the experience was like working with you as their real estate agent, I think that can be just an awesome way to just showcase the great qualities that you bring to any transaction that you're working. So,
and video is a double edge because you got the video, and then from that video you can make a blog from it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing to bring up is that one cool thing once you get kind of a content engine working for you, it doesn't all have to be 100% original. Like you can iterate on different ideas. You can cite yourself. You can take a long, if you write a very long post, something very in depth, you can then spin that into, 3 or 4 shorter posts that kind of mention different keywords. And so it can be this sort of ongoing conversation. And really, not only is that showcasing your knowledge about the industry or the local area, but it's also a way to get people clicking through your site, right? So as they're following links that you're intertwining between these different articles, you're going to get them way more engaged in your site itself, and then hopefully, move them down the funnel into someone that's a warm lead. So awesome. Cool.
We do a lot of interlinking too. So when one blog is talking about luxury homes for sale, we would link them to our landing page that we as well. Huge and is like, a person's interested in that one topic.
Oh, you're totally cutting out.
Phone cut out. I was just talking about interlinking. I'll start over. So I like the idea of interlinking your content. When you're talking about one article, you can at the bottom like have related articles and link them. So when we talked about luxury homes for sale, we would have a landing page for luxury homes for sale and do a lot of cross promotion. It kept people going. Google tracks like the length of time that they stay on your website and how many pages they click through. So you can make that happen. Big.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's a great tactic. And so, yeah, just to sum it up, blogging can and should be a key component of your online marketing strategy. So, whether blogging is part of the marketing that you're doing currently or something you're looking to explore, highly recommend incorporating it as a key component of what you're doing online. So to get started blogging, there's this whole process, and I think Dan highlighted this, of like, how do you gather ideas? Where are you finding kind of these resources for inspiration? And some things that I think it's important to think about as you're considering either setting up or revamping an existing blog is like, what are your target demographics? Are you selling very, very high-end luxury homes? And is that the type of buyer or seller that you want to target? Are you, is it, just think about who you're trying to sell to and what they would want to read, right? So you want to step into their shoes a little bit. And then also what types of media is going to set you apart, right? So if you have a blog and you have videos and you have this sort of media strategy, that's going to be a great way to differentiate yourself. And, how can the blog add value, right? So not only are you covering current events or attractions in the local area, things that are kind of like more cultural lifestyle pieces, but you can also use your blog to help inform people. And we actually do this on our own blog. We publish articles all the time that are, specifically related to tips and tricks about content marketing or even how to use our platform, best practices. So we really work hard to position ourselves as leaders in the industry, and we do that through our blog.
I even have people reuse their content. So a lot of people have a buyer presentation, a seller presentation, and it's usually like locked up on their computer as like a private little thing. You should totally have that on your blog and then share that with them instead of just on your iPad in person. You can leave it with them and it'll show all the people that have shared it, that sort of thing. Like I had a guy who emailed me yesterday all the top things to do in Halifax. And I was blown away at this Word document. He put together all the restaurants broken down by style, which ones to go to, and then what he thought of each one and what to order. And then all the fun things to do, all the attractions. Like it was like a 12-page document. And I was like, is this online anywhere? And he said, no. I'm like, dude, you got to get this put on your blog. Like this is gold.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, you never know how people will come across you, right? So you can be very specific in what you're targeting in terms of these very industry-specific keywords surrounding, buying a house or, hiring a real estate agent, things that are laser focused on what you do, but, also being willing to share out that other type of information is going to kind of cast a wider net and also make you seem so much more relatable. So when someone stumbles across your site, even if they're not in the market at that very moment, they're going to remember you. They're going to remember that awesome guide that they found to restaurants in Halifax, right? And it's going to plant the seed for later on. So I think that's a great example. That's super awesome.
I know it's different styles for different people, but what's your opinion on short blogs versus long blogs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I get asked that question a lot. And I wish that I had a very simple answer, but I do have a few recommendations. So, content marketing and SEO specifically has evolved a lot in the last, decade. When I was first starting out in the industry, all that you needed to get noticed online was, a 250 to 300 word article that had a few keywords stuffed in it, and if you published once a week, that was enough. Google would pay attention to you. But Google's gotten a lot smarter, and it started to punish content that it deems to be, what's the word I'm looking for, irrelevant or spammy, and it's gotten a lot smarter with what it uses to actually scan through the content.
I got hit with that. Duplicate content, because I would do Oshawa and Whitby are two different cities, but I would do the same content. So I would kind of like reskin it for an Oshawa blog and I'd do a Whitby blog. And that backfired. It worked at first, but then over time, Google got smarter and was like, no, dude, this is 90% the same article. You just changed a couple words.
No, and that's so first of all, naughty, don't do that. But that's a good thing to keep in mind is like, while you are gathering these ideas and, even if you find an article that you really love and you think is super inspiring, you can't just go and copy paste it. I mean, maybe this is obvious, but we have people try to do it all the time. Like, let's just rewrite this article, put our company name instead of, the other person's name and just publish it on our own. Google is very, very punitive towards anything that it considers plagiarism. So even if you're republishing your own content on separate sites, if you're not citing it correctly, you can get penalized. So that is important to think about. But back to the short, long thing. Longer is better. Now you don't have to be writing, War and Peace on your blog every month. You don't want it to be too long. But my current sort of understanding and what the industry standard minimum is now about 600 words. So if you want to get by with something shorter, 600 is acceptable for SEO. 1,000 is better. And really the ultimate kind of next phase of content length that we're seeing is something called topic clusters and content pillars. And those are all fancy words that just describe this idea where you have several pieces that you publish that are quite long, like in the 2,000 to 3,000 word range. And you can think of those as, those are the pillars of your strategy, right? So you can have several different categories that just go really in depth in, I don't know, housing market trends in your area, or the ultimate guide to, taking a vacation in Halifax or something. And they're very long or longer. And then what you do is you take those longer pieces of content and then you use them as inspiration for these shorter, like 600 word pieces, 300 to 600 word pieces. And they're all linked together in the architecture of your site. And Google, for some reason, loves that. It loves seeing a long piece with shorter pieces linked to it, all on the same URL. And so that's one way to ensure that you're kind of getting the best SEO leverage out of the length of the articles that you're publishing. So, and if you do ever have questions,
that's really, yeah, that's interesting. I have a question. I was actually going to do the opposite. I'm writing a book right now that's not real estate related, and I was going to start a blog, and I was just literally going to blog the whole thing all the way through until the book was created, and then make the book. So I was going to go do the opposite way.
One thing I'll mention this at the end, but if anyone has questions about like strategizing their SEO or, wants me to clarify any of the stuff that I'm talking about, I'll share out my email. I'm happy to consult or talk to you about kind of what I would recommend as the best strategy. But yeah, what you're saying there, rather than having long sections that are just all the same and just publishing them like that, it would be beneficial to think of it in terms of the architecture of, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's like Google wants smart content that looks like it's relevant and engaging to readers. And one way that it's looking for that is these different lengths of articles that are all linked together. So HubSpot actually kind of invented this new methodology and they implemented it on their own site. And if you're familiar with HubSpot, they're like the titans of inbound content marketing. And within 6 months of doing this, they saw their website traffic, organic leads increased by over 40%.
Oh, wow. And they have a huge amount of traffic already.
They already had a massive amount of traffic. And as soon as they implemented this, they call it the topic cluster methodology, where you have the long piece and then related pieces linked to it, 40% increase in traffic. So it's something huge. It's something that I'm working with my team to implement on our own site. So if you want to be really...
I want to interrupt for a second. He's on the call. You don't have to unmute yourself, but can you make a note to find a video that talks about, what'd you call it? Topic cluster?
Topic cluster, yeah. And I actually, I don't know if you share resources afterwards, but I did it.
Yeah.
I interviewed the head product manager at HubSpot, I think back in February, just talking to her all about this and like why she created it and how it can benefit marketing agencies and small businesses. So I'll be happy to share that interview with you guys too, so you can kind of read about the...
Totally. Yeah, I want to read that. Yeah. When we're done, if you can email that, I'll include it in the show notes.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll have some cool resources to share with you guys. So
okay.
Awesome. Very cool. So moving on to blogging tools, Dan, I thought you did a great job of showing some like really easy, accessible tools that you can use to like find ideas for content. There also are blog hosting platforms if you aren't already provided with a template. So HubSpot is great. We use HubSpot currently. Love it for blogs. And then WordPress is another one. So this is going to give you the space you need to create your blog and also the templates that will make it look, all slick and professional.
Wait, you use HubSpot to host your own blogs?
Yep, absolutely.
Wow. Okay, yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
I didn't even know that was a possibility. That's cool. Okay, good to know that you use it, and that's something to look into.
Yeah, anyone can. So HubSpot offers it's a CRM, so you can manage all of your contacts and marketing automation, stuff like that. But then they also have a content management system. And it's very intuitive. It's easy to use. So yeah, highly recommend them. And we are one of their partners. So we work really closely with them to sort of implement their inbound marketing best strategies. And then if you are looking to kind of boost your SEO savvy, there are some tools that I recommend, such as Yoast. So that's a plugin for WordPress. You can use that to make sure that everything that you're publishing is properly optimized for SEO. And then if you're looking for keywords, I recommend resources like Moz or Google Analytics. And then I was going to show you, this is kind of fun. So I can't remember what you were showing us, Dan, but if you're interested in learning, this is totally creepy.
No.
So have you ever seen this before? So
no, he looks like David Letterman, but no, I haven't.
Yeah, so there's this really strange guy. So this is called answerthepublic.com. So basically you can enter any search term here and it will search Google and Bing and figure out what are the most commonly searched phrases and questions related to that keyword. So I just looked up, so let's see. Buying a house or something. And so you enter your keyword and he suggests content ideas. So you just say get questions. So he's searching through all of Google and seeing in real time what people are actually searching, like what language they're using when they're researching buying a house. And this can take a second. So I actually here we go. So we've got 151 questions and it just visualizes them here. So where's some question? When you're buying a house, who pays for the home inspection? When buying a house, what is a short sale?
Oh my God, this is a whole year of content right here.
Yeah, so you just put in whatever phrase you're interested in, and then this is literally what people are searching about right now in terms of that keyword. So you can go through and just use these as headlines. What is buying? I mean, a lot of these, and you can think of kind of more clever keywords to be researching, but there's a lot. Yeah. Will buying a house help my taxes? And if you're knowledgeable about that stuff and you write a compelling article that answers some of these questions, you're going to get a lot of traffic because people are already searching for it. So
wow, this is an idea. Take that question: is will buying a house affect my taxes or whatever? If you, I'm talking about real estate agents. So any agent listening, why don't you connect with your accountant, ask that question, and do a little video? And now you have a video for Facebook plus a blog. So you could do that for the mortgage side, the accounting, taxes side, that sort of thing. So you could get other people to answer the questions for you. And you just do like you could even do like a Facebook Live and get it done and over quick. Yeah,
that's a great idea. So this can be an awesome, resource for ideas. And it's really, instead of just taking a stab in the dark, like maybe this is what people are interested in.
Yeah.
What is what's being searched for right now. So
write that one down, answerthepublic.com. And then also on her slide, she had Yoast and 2 other ones. So if you can back up, include those, we'll add them to the notes.
Moz is great. They have a free keywords tool. So you'll be able to see, what people are searching for in your industry and your local area. So they're great. And then Google Analytics too.
And we got some people slow clapping, meaning that they really, really dig the content you shared.
Awesome. Yeah, the only drawback of Answer the Public is that you do have to watch this creepy man, but as soon as you type in your question, he'll go away. So I promise it's not that bad.
I was hoping he actually answered back like a robot. Imagine that.
Know, right? Wouldn't that be cool, huh? Unfortunately, it's not that advanced yet. Cool. So yeah, we're starting to run out of time. I'm going to move on. So what type of real estate blog content attracts the right type of engagement? So like, what will you write about? What's going to be your magnet for leads? So I have 5 quick ideas. I'm going to move through them pretty fast because we've already talked about some great sort of methods that you can use to get inspiration. But these are just things that I've seen that really work for the real estate industry. So
that's cool. And you don't have to rush the good content because anybody who wants to stick around will. We're going to record it, and people who miss the ending will get the recording. So
awesome. Okay.
Take as much time as you feel comfortable.
Good to know. And we've already touched on this, but it's always great to highlight local events, restaurants, other attractions. Not only is that going to help to sell the neighborhood that your listings are in, right? It's going to make it seem more appealing. You're also going to bring in traffic from people that are just trying to build awareness and understanding of what's going on around them, right? So local papers, events calendars, you can constantly be combing through them and looking for kind of the greatest hits of what's hip and happening. And, those are things that people are thinking about when they're considering buying a home, right? Like what's their lifestyle going to be like? What's the neighborhood like? Where will they go to eat? Where will they shop? And those are all great starting off points for your real estate blog. And it's something that you're constantly updating, right? There's always going to be stuff going on in your local area. So you can link back to the calendar listing. It's sort of a ready-made content idea for you. So I think that's a really great way to get started. Another idea is to explore housing market trends. And with this type of content, I think it's pretty essential to think about we call it a buyer persona. I don't know necessarily but like your ideal buyer, like how savvy are they about the housing market? What type of information is going to be most relevant to them? You want to speak to their comfort level and their understanding while also, highlighting like why is now a great time to sell your house versus buying a new house, things like that. So I think there's always a lot of good information to dig into there.
And it's seasonal too. The market's always changing. The prices are always changing, up and down, up and down. Maybe they stay the same, but really they're changing slowly. And anyways, there's always a seasonal influx, so you can count on seasonal changes as well. So that's like you could predict future articles.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. And I think this is something that I've written tons of these articles for realtors and also home builders, but tips and tricks for new homeowners. When someone's thinking about buying a house, oftentimes they're searching not just for realtors, but for advice on like what can they expect. Maybe they're a first-time home buyer that's never gone through the process before. They probably have a lot of questions about this or that, from everything from financing, their mortgage, how does the mortgage work, but also, what to do if your new house needs renovations, like how do you plan ahead for that, all of that kind of stuff. And that's going to be really valuable content for your blog, and it's going to help attract the right kind of buyer, I think. So this is sort of a funny one. So lists of reasons why. So lists are always a great starting off point for any blog content because they're so adaptable, right? So what I mean by a list of reasons why, it'd be like 10 reasons why now is the right time to sell your home, or 5 reasons why you should look for a new real estate agent. I don't know, things like that. So anything that you can put in list form, it's going to be an engaging format for your readers. And it's also going to be something that is evergreen, right? So when you talk
so I'm going to elaborate on this. For the agents listening, if you have a farm area, a geographic farm area that you focus on, write out the reasons why we love, and then the name of your farm. And then you a list of like the 10 reasons why you love it. And then that list of 10 can then be broken off into other blogs. Like, so number 1 could be a blog on its own, you know what I mean? But you have this one list, and then you do a Facebook ad targeting only the people who live in the homes in that farm area, and they're going to want to share it because it's all about them. It has nothing to do with you or anything like that. So that's like really hyper-focused, share-worthy content. And I love that idea, the reasons why we love, and then the name of your farm area. That would take off.
That's awesome. No, that's super cool. So there's a lot you can iterate on here, and people love reading lists. I don't know. It's a little bit more, even just the way it looks on the screen, it's just a little bit easier to engage with than like a long, dense article. It's just something you can scan. If you have some links to other content in there, that's great. Can't go wrong there. And then again, this sort of plays off the idea of number 1, but showcase events and outings in your local area. You know, what are people doing around you? Why do they love living in that neighborhood? You know, and you can think of it in terms of segmenting different types of buyers or that might be wanting to move to the area. You know, are you looking at young millennials that are seeking, you know, kind of hip, fun attractions, or are you selling mostly to older folks that are, you know, like what types of events are going to draw certain types of buyers in? So just an endless wealth of inspiration there, and it's always going to be fresh and relevant. But again, go ahead.
We did this for real estate for client appreciation events. So whenever we'd rent out the whole movie theater, and then we'd hire a photographer to come in taking photos of the event, and we pre-created the blog, and then we got business cards made up through Vistaprint or something like that, and we got a URL that redirected to the blog because the blog was too long for them to type, and it would be like danlovesyou.com or something, client appreciation event 2018, whatever. So we had a URL, and we would take a person's photo and then hand them the card and say the photo is going to be uploaded here tomorrow. And it was a blog about, but you could do it with other events too, like live events and stuff.
That's a really cool idea. Yeah, I love that. Just getting more engagement, right? If you're taking a photo and putting them up there, it's another way to get that traffic going to your blog. And there's another thing that I wanted to just quickly call out. I think I briefly mentioned it, but it's good to always think of the difference between what we call evergreen and newsworthy content. So evergreen content is going to be stuff that is always relevant, right? So it's timeless content that like at any time of the year, someone can come to your post and read through it, and it'll always be relevant to them. So it's good to mix up like that evergreen, timeless content with stuff that's very news and noteworthy. And having a blend of that is just going to make your content seem that much more alive, right? So you're showcasing your authority sort of from a this more timeless perspective, while you're also highlighting events, trends, things that you're noticing. It's a way of just seeming way more engaged. So another tip there. And so now it's time for the easy part, writing the blogs themselves. Nope. Writing.
I was waiting for that part. I'm like, no.
So writing, even if you are a skilled writer, like I have been a professional writer for most of my career. And when it comes down to time to sit down and actually write blogs for my company, it is a struggle because I just have so many other things that I have to do, right? And that's the story I hear time and time again. Having an active blog is so critical for your online marketing and for your marketing in general, but it is so hard to write it yourself. So if you're not going to write it yourself, who's going to write it for you? Well, you have some options, and we've created this kind of matrix of different types of writers. So I can kind of walk you through this, but so basically, you have things like hopefully you can see my pointer, but like, Craigslist, if you're going onto Craigslist and just finding, Joe random, you don't know, he may have a pretty general focus. So they may not specialize in real estate. And you're also working with a marketplace, right? So these are our general marketplace solutions. I think, did you mention Upwork or Fiverr or something?
Yeah, it was like the Wild West. You kind of got what you paid for, and we had to do a lot of the rewriting, but it was better than staring at a blank screen.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I kind of lump all these together. It's like, it's not even necessarily a marketplace for writers. Like Craigslist is a marketplace for anything. So you can go there and try to get what you're looking for, but like you said, it's kind of the Wild West. And then you can also try working with individuals, right? So you can find a marketing consultant. You can find your neighbor's cousin's girlfriend's sister who's on summer break and ask her to write some blogs. But, it's hard to rely on that one individual, because what happens when they get busy or, they kind of go off the radar? At that point, you're kind of left in the lurch, because if you're relying on this one person to write your blog for you, and they aren't able to keep up with your deadlines, suddenly your blog is not going to be active anymore, and you're going to be, again, left with this hole to fill.
Oh, speaking of active blog, do you have, like you should blog once a week, every day? I know the more the better is the real answer, but what's like a realistic
I think a realistic place to start would be at least once a week. And just see where that gets you. It's sort of, I like to describe content, it's like starting a savings account, right? At first, you're going to put a few dollars in there, here and there, and it's not going to look like much, but over time, it's going to start accruing interest and it's going to start building on itself. So same with content, right? If you're going to start with a couple of blogs, you're going to be like, is this really doing anything? I just have this content up here. I don't really see any progress, but the real key is consistency. I think a minimum of once a week is great. And once you sort of start seeing that payoff, increasing to twice a week or 3 times a week is always a good idea. I don't think it is definitely not necessary to blog every day. In fact, that might be a bit excessive, but definitely getting on a weekly or biweekly cadence is something that I would definitely recommend.
Perfect. Yeah, we were doing one or two a week.
Yeah, I think that's ideal. And you can find a sweet spot. And when you work with a service like ours, you can change your plan at any time. You're not locked into a contract. So, say you want to try out once a week at a certain length and, you're seeing certain results and you want to see what happens if you double that and post twice a week. You can try that out for a couple of months or even just a month and see how it changes your number of leads and your traffic and adjust from there. So it's totally up to you. And again, you can always work with a content marketing agency, but that can also be very expensive. And a lot of them don't actually offer content as a service, right? So they can build out a map for your content. They can think of the ideas. They can recommend your keywords and SEO. But when it comes to the actual writing part of it, a lot of times you're just left on your own. So we do have competitors out there. Companies like Scripted and Writer Access, but with Blogmutt, you're really getting a great value. You're getting a lot of flexibility. We have an awesome in-house team of people like myself and other content specialists who will work closely with you to just make sure that you're matched with the right writers. And so what does the right writer look like? This is sort of a creepy brain illustration that we made, but you kind of want to hit this sweet spot where you have someone that not only is an outstanding writer, but they understand how to write for the internet, right? They have that marketing savvy and understanding. You're also going to need someone with knowledge of your industry, right? So whether they've worked as a realtor or they just have experience, like myself, I've written dozens, if not hundreds of blogs for real estate agents. So I just am able to step into your shoes and understand your mindset, understand your goals. So having that industry knowledge is essential. And then also someone with a freelancer mindset, right? You want someone that's eager to work for you, that can take direction, that is also independent. So that's, those are just some key, some key features to just keep in mind as you're looking to hire a writer, however you may do so.
And a rule of thumb, I would always me personally, I'm speaking about myself, if I had somebody writing my content, I would always read that content and then put my own spin on top. Like I would do my own icing on the cake. You could just have it plug and play where a person is doing for you blindly, but I don't know. I think it's really important for a person to have their own flow. And also you'll see things in the local market that any writer may not pick up on, that you'd be like, oh man, we should talk about this or add this or change this. So you should always still, like, you leverage this and these services, but you should still put your own touch on it.
Yeah. And to that, I'll just say, when asked, I like to say that our content will get you 80 to 90% of the way there, and if that's good enough, you can definitely publish it as is. But, I think it's a good idea to read through it and, like you said, put your own spin on things. Our writers can really step in your shoes. They can meet all of your expectations. But ultimately, if you want it super hyper tailored to your exact tone, your voice, your market, your local area, just taking the time to spend like a couple of minutes, going through and just changing, whatever feels like it would be more on the market for you, It's always a good idea. But yeah, Blogmutt can help you. Now that we've shared all these great tips, tricks, ideas, the creative juices are flowing, you're ready to start blogging. We're here. We have a network of over 3,000 highly vetted US-based writers. And I guess I'm not sure, are most of the people listening in the US, or do we have some Canadians with us as well?
It's a mix. It's about 60-40, 60% in the States, 40% in Canada.
Cool. So we work with businesses all over the world, in English-speaking countries. So when you're signing up with us, you can actually specify what type of English you would like our writers to write in. So you can set your account to Canadian English, for example. So if you want everything written in Canadian English, that's not a problem. We make it really easy. And I did some digging into our database to get up-to-date numbers. We actually currently write for more than 200 individual realtors each month. So we've got a very active network of clients as well as writers who are writing for them. So we're set up to help you. And to date, we have sold more than 21,000 blogs in the real estate industry. So we were founded in 2011. So that's been, in the past 7 years or so. But I thought that was pretty impressive. So
wow. And I really appreciate you pulling these numbers, because you just did this for us, because I invited you on this call. So you did a bunch of research before, and I've had other people who don't put the effort in like you did. So I just want to say thank you.
Oh, of course. Happy to do it. I think it's interesting to me, like from my perspective, learning more about the industries that we serve and how to specifically help them, and like the systems that we already have in place to do so is part of, what makes my job interesting. So yeah, happy to do so. I was going to dive into a demo, but I honestly don't think we have time. If you are interested in learning more about blogging for real estate, if you want to learn more about Blogmutt itself, if you want help signing up, feel free to just email me. I'm here. My job is to talk to you, and I would love to. So
can you just on a surface level talk about, like you said, there's no contract. People can buy per article. What's it look like? Is it monthly? Is it per?
So there's no. Let's see. This is the one part that I struggle talking about. So we don't have there's no monthly fee. There's no charge to use the platform. It's all, you're just paying for the content, but you are billed month to month. So you're going to build out a plan or a package for yourself. So let's say you were interested in doing 4 500 word posts a month. Our prices start at about 10 cents a word. So one 500 word blog post would be about $50. So if you're looking for 4 of those a month, you'd be looking at about $200 per month, and that would be rebilled every 30 days, but you can cancel it at any time. So you will set up your subscription. It'll be whatever word length and number of posts you're looking for in that 30 days. You can give it a try, and we do actually offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you wanted to sign up with Dan's affiliate link and just see how it goes, if in the first 30 days you don't accept any of your content, we'll offer you a full refund. And that's one of the unique things about Blogmutt, and that's probably the most important thing that I'm now getting to at the very end. But basically with us, what you're going to be doing is sharing all this information about who you are as a real estate agent, who you're looking to target, what your blog topic ideas are. We're going to build out this whole profile for you, and you'll do it during the sign-up process. And then it'll be our writer's job to actually match themselves to you. So rather than spending time wading through different profiles and having to hire individual writers, our writers are submitting their content to you on spec, which means that you'll decide whether or not you want to purchase it. And then you're always welcome to decline anything that's not a good fit. So you're guaranteed to only purchase content that you love. We'll work with you to help you find those right writers. But again, we do have many, many writers and happy real estate clients on our platform. So we're set up to work specifically for your industry. And yeah, once you've created your profile and given us your topics and your monthly blogging requirements, our writers will start submitting to you. And it'll be just a process of deciding which articles you like the best, and you'll purchase those and politely decline anything that's not a good fit. And through that process, you'll meet the writers that you really love. You'll be able to prefer them and work with them sort of on a more exclusive basis. So that's a little plug of how we work and how we can work for you.
No, I love it. It's so simple. Like,
yeah.
You definitely have a new client with me.
Awesome.
And I know other people are going to be signing up as well. Now, this isn't like a sales pitch. Like everybody at the beginning of this webinar, I showed you all the free ways that are out there. This is more for an agent who has a long-term vision, it wants and sees value in internet traffic. I wouldn't sign up and do this for 1 month and then be like, oh, I didn't get a lead, and then cancel it. Like, you're not probably going to get any leads in 1 month, right? But as long as you like the value of what you're getting and see value in it, then obviously the long-term play is a huge idea. So that's really cool. I'm actually going to get you hooked up with a couple of associations to see if they can get you in as a speaker, because I've heard a lot of people talk about blogging, and I really like yours versus anybody else's I've ever heard.
Oh, thank you.
So I'll see if I can get you in with them. And I'll get you this video so that you can add it to your blog, because you blog all the time. The content, you can make a blog about blogging for realtors.
Yeah,
and then
wonderful.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, so go ahead and use this. Shihab, on that last screenshot, when she had the screen up with the logo and her email, underneath, just can you, in the video, type out the affiliate link so that people can see it. But for anybody listening, we're going to have it in the show notes. So if you're watching a video, it'll be in the description or just underneath. You'll have a Word document with a link of all the links that we talked about. So it's all going to be listed there for you, and you can just open that up. So cool. Thank you for joining me, everybody. And Blogmutt, I got to thank you guys. One, for the name, it makes me smile. And two, for the content that you provided. It was a great value. So thank you.
Awesome. No, thanks so much. This was a wonderful opportunity. And I just chatted my email again in there. I'm sure you'll share it out with the show notes as well. But I'm here if anyone has any questions or just wants to chat. I'm an open book. So yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Jacqueline. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hey, if you want to close more real estate transactions, get more buyer leads, and get more seller leads, click this button right here. It'll take you to our real estate group coaching page. Also, if you like this video and want more, you can subscribe by pressing this, or you can check out some of my past videos here. Enjoy!